Hello, welcome to a brand new show on MinnMax, Max Settings. I'm Leo Vader, we've got Charles Harte here.
What's up?
What's up?
What's good?
What's good even? This is a really new show and a really new type of show for us. It's sponsored by NVIDIA. They sent me the RTX 4090 Founders Edition to stream new games around once a month at the highest level of fidelity. And I've been testing it this week. I'll talk more about how well it's working and stuff. But I'm really excited about it. But basically the show is not just going to be talking about the graphics card. It's like the community wants more gameplay streams. This is an excuse to do them where we get compensated to make it worth our while, and we get to partner with a product we genuinely love. I've used NVIDIA graphics cards my entire gaming PC history, so hopefully you'll just have some fun watching Dragon Age, and maybe you'll learn a little bit along the way. Is that such a crime?
Whoa, you're saying this is going to be educational also?
Educational.
Whoa.
We'll dig into the exact settings later, but we'll just let it run and look at it for a little bit. I'm like 1 hour into Dragon Age. I decided to start it this morning and know a little bit more of what I'm talking about now that we're like a week out of launch versus just playing from the beginning.
Can you walk us through your Rook as this beautiful cutscene shows along?
She's that one class that has horns. Got the name of that one on the top of your head?
Canary?
Canary? I went with some broken horns. I want like
You're awake.
a dark history.
And
Cheated death a lot of times is my basic idea.
This is
To the
what
point where they're not
people
so scared of it
commonly
anymore.
Dream, but dwarves don't dream. And somehow I'm here.
Yes, Canary. I got it right.
It's
Nice.
I look it up.
real. Nev thought we should talk.
And what's your vibe on your
We
companion
should.
so far?
But maybe look around a little. We might
They
be here a
seem
while.
chill. I haven't worked too much with them. I kind of expected some more of them to die in the intro. It seems like we're all chilling.
Okay.
Okay, let's build craft for a sec. I picked the rogue class because and I picked the backstory that focuses on crits and weak point damage because that's very much my play style. And we could lean into that more. How much of this game have you played? And you're a Dragon Age Super fan, am I right?
No. I am a Dragon Age the Veilguard super excited to play it.
Man.
But I hadn't played. I saw the demo at Summer Game Fest and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be so cool." I didn't know I haven't been playing this my whole life.
Right.
So I'm very enthusiastic about it, but I have not played prior Dragon Age games.
Okay, sick. This game has, in the character creator, a bit of like choose what happened in Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah.
That was very readable for me as someone who played it but didn't finish it.
Okay, you did play that one.
I did. It was Game Informer's 2014 Game of the Year.
I remember that.
I truly do believe that's why I got it.
What was the debate that year? Do you remember?
It was that and Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, okay.
Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, which I did adore. It was absolutely my Game of the Year that year.
What else came out? Why none of those? Neither of those are. I don't know why it's bothered me. Okay, I was like, I feel like one of those is really obvious for me. I think Mario Kart 8 was mine that year. As a.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess that is a good one. That's always a tough year people talk about us not having a lot of great options, but Mario Kart 8 has well stood the test of time.
So, we stopped the ritual.
And Varric paid the price.
This is what just happened, by the way. I was about to explain what happened in the prologue, but they're talking about
The
it.
risks.
Okay.
We all did.
And now Solus is gone. And we're here. Wherever here is. Besides in the Fade.
Solus called it
Freaking
the
Faye.
lighthouse.
He did? When?
Yeah, Solus and I, who is of course an iconic character from Dragon Age Inquisition, we had a little bit of a meeting in some kind of dream space. We're gonna say he was in my head.
In my head, Solus showed up while I was out cold to gripe
At the
about
start, you
us
can
breaking
choose
his
which of your
ritual.
companions
He's mad
like
about
gets
us
injured. I mean, you
destroying
don't
his ritual?
know they're
Sounded
gonna get
like it.
injured, I guess.
When the ritual went wrong,
But
he
already
ended up
our
trapped in
play
some kind of
play
prison.
paths have
You're
diverged
sure
because
that
I had
wasn't just a
Harding get
dream?
injured.
It's a reasonable reaction.
Solus
So her
can
face was
speak
messed
with
up here?
people in their dreams. Even kill them.
And I've
Not
played more
in
of this
danger.
game, but
Can
I
only
think her
barely
face
reach
is
me.
still messed
I
up.
bled a little when I got knocked out.
I feel like
So
days
Solus
have
is
passed,
using blood
but
magic.
I don't know.
Like
I don't know how much
any
farther I
normal
get
mage would to play with your
to
mind.
unlock the
But
Harding
he's not a
Heal
normal mage,
story beat.
like I told
When
you.
it skips ahead 3
He's
years.
an elven
Oh
god.
yeah,
Putting together a nice
I
ritual
love time
doesn't
skips
make
in
him a god.
games.
Me too. I love them in everything. Look at all this hair, by the way. Focus on the hair tech, which is of course flipped on.
If
I
we were
don't
building your
care
character
about
on
the
the stream,
philosophy.
I would have said
In terms
get
of his
the
power
most
against ours,
outrageous
he's a god.
hair.
Yeah,
just so
I'm
we could
regretting
really
that for
Alright,
sure.
Well, we've stopped the ritual.
But you
and
got
there
the side
doesn't seem to be
characters,
an
the
immediate
bouncing
danger.
pigtails
now.
and whatnot.
You're
Lux.
certain Solus can't use blood magic to affect your mind?
I'm not certain of anything, but we're not out of danger.
What do you mean?
Solus had 2 of the other elven gods in prison.
I don't know if I can handle this
We
number of
got
women in one
trapped.
scene. Don't
We
worry,
escaped.
So those
chatters.
things will come out
This
of the
does not
fade
pass the
when
Bechtel
ritual
test. We're
went
talking about
wild.
Solus the whole time.
Those
Elgornon
Yeah.
and Gillenane, 2 of the ancient elven gods that Solus rebelled against.
Don't know about Elgornon and Gillenane, for gender-wise.
I think even still, I think
They're our next
the
target.
conversation is,
So we set our sights on a pair of elven
isn't it like
gods.
basically
easy.
tossed
Who else is gonna
aside
do it?
if,
If they're loose,
like for the
we kill
Bechtel
them.
test, if you're
They were
not,
evil
if a
tyrants who
man
enslaved
comes up in
their
conversation,
people.
it's
We need
maybe
to
I'm
stop them.
incorrect, but that like
Solus
ruins
says
it.
Elgornon and
Right.
Gillenane drew on the blight for
You
power.
have to talk about
and
something
became
besides a
corrupted.
man.
That
Yeah.
was when he
In
imprisoned
this
them.
very real test.
So instead of one god running around, we have 2. And they're not just powerful, they're blighted.
We need to get out there and stop them.
Just like that. We're down a man without Varric. We can't just rush in.
I know you're hurt, Nev, but the rest of us need to do something.
I'll be ready to fight when it's time, but we need to investigate, then figure out
I am
what we
so
can.
not used to running games at
And
max
how many
settings.
more people will get hurt, get killed?
Yeah.
While we
It's
spend
like,
time investigating?
To me, it's like going from being like poor in college and then getting like an adult job and then being
If
like, oh, I
Elgornon
can
and
like
Gillenane are
have
worse
more
than
things than
Solus,
I
we
was used to
can't go in
having, you
blind.
know?
Yeah,
We need to know
right.
what they can do and what they want.
Like, oh.
But we only have Solus's
Of
word
course, my
about
first
all
thing
of
I
this.
did was play
Let's go
Hitman
investigate
because
for
that is the game I
ourselves.
know what it
Find
looks
out what
like
we're
the
dealing
most,
with.
I would say.
Right.
I think it's safe to say.
Take our
With ray
shot.
tracing on for the first
Fine.
time.
The Illuvian led us here.
Which in
instead
that
of
game, it's a
back
lot
to
of like
Mathis.
store
Let's hope it
window
goes back to the ritual
reflections
site.
and car,
Maybe we
not
can
just
find
car
some
windows, but like
clues at the
car
scene of the crime.
bodies reflecting off the
Nev,
glossy
Are
paint.
you okay to go?
Which gives you a lot of like
It's a headache. I've worked with worse.
wide 47
Alright then.
images, you know, as he's
Let's
kind
get
of
back to the
stretched as
ritual
you
site.
are distorted
The Illuvian
when you
Oh,
try to catch
okay.
a reflection in a
room.
car.
It's just down the stairs.
47.
And that's very enjoyable. I also have a 4K TV as my second monitor, and I only ever have played games on 2K on it.
Ah.
And finally being able to play games at 4K on a 4K monitor at 60 frames is pretty sick.
Yeah, how big is it?
Maybe 47 inches?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Big boy.
Big boy, not bad.
I do have the stream muted just because I don't want to hear us talking
Yeah.
over it. What voice is your rook? Is it feminine
Before we know,
but
there's a
not
dozen
British?
demons waiting on the other side
Right,
of the
voice
feminine
acting
2
work?
medium, I believe.
That
gonna recreate
that
at home.
voice
If it
is
even takes us back to
Erika
Arlathan.
Ishii,
Oh.
who is
Yeah, sure you're up for
playing the protagonist in Ghost of Yotai.
Don't worry about me.
Yeah,
That's just fun. Just fun fact.
sick.
Just Erika Ishii stand over here.
I'm impressed that
Shall
it is
we?
fully voice acted with all those
Let's
voice
do
options.
this.
Yes, you often have like getting to choose what your character says. They don't often say all the things all the time, which is cool in this.
Right.
It's quiet. Well, isn't that a surprise?
It's quiet.
There's the ritual
The
site.
normal amount of quiet.
But
It's
if the
quiet.
gods really did
Ah,
come,
okay,
they're
great.
not here anymore.
I
Well,
love
chill.
when it's like
Right.
this.
Let's take a look around and see if we can find any.
Do you have like a fancy armor, like pre-order deluxe bonus or something?
I do have some of that. I don't have it on. I like the ragged look a little more.
I just noticed Neve looks. She's got. Oh, she's all cold.
Mhm.
I'm trying! It's not working! I can't contain it!
Strife? Irulan?
What are you doing back in Arlathan?
I knew it was
Long
Strife and
story.
Irulan.
Isn't it always with you? And did I hear you're going by Rook now?
Nev, this is Strife and Irulan. They're veil jumpers.
Do you remember what your
experts in elven
backstory
magic. I worked with them before Harte and
was?
Varric
Yeah, it
recruited
was
me.
like I was going for a
Hardly
rare map
experts.
with my
should
squad,
have been
and I
able to
decided to
shut
save their
that
lives instead of
artifact
getting the
down.
map. And
Okay.
some of them are mad at me
Sorry,
because the map was
Tareth.
so important.
It's not your fault.
As a veil
Since
jumper.
the sky ripped open, the magic's been surging. Bunch of artifacts that had been dormant for centuries started coming alive. This is because of Finn Harel's, Solus's
I wish
ritual,
that,
isn't it?
not
Thought
that
you
I'm
were
judging
supposed
people
to
with
stop
face
it.
tattoos in real
But
life,
did
but it would be
unforeseen
cool if someone went for
complications
more
lead
of
to
these, like,
unforeseen
elfy
consequences?
ones.
Again.
Just like, my face branches.
Yeah, but the LP ones are kind of based on the real life ones, aren't they? Maori
Are there people that
tattoos and
have-
whatnot?
Like those types of... Oh, okay. Yeah. I was thinking of, like, I wish Post Malone had, like,
We
leaves
found
and patterns
Solus
on
and
his
stopped his
face.
ritual.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
things took a turn.
He's moved to
magic
Utah.
went
He could be in
wild.
his occult
Solus
era,
was dragged
his
into the
pagan era.
Fade, into some kind of prison.
Is Utah a
But
big
when he
occult
went
place?
in,
I
There's
associate
just
with
a lot of
Mormons.
room. Like, if he wants to do
Someone
nature
else
stuff, he's
got
got, like,
out.
half the state.
Elgernon and Gillinane, supposedly.
Thalanost.
The return of our
I never
gods,
thought about, like,
the
a lot of room
Evangelist.
here. You can start a
If
cult.
those two are back out in the world,
There's a lot of
You got
nature
space
to be
planes,
worshipped.
what?
You got a
Like
space for a
what?
big farm.
Artifacts that have been dormant for centuries are awakening. Something that would need a source of tremendous
John
magical
Skovic says,
energy.
I've been saying for
Like
years I
two
wish
of our
Post
old
Malone
gods.
was more elf-like.
True.
He does kind of have like an immortal quality to him. Not in that like
Anything you can tell us
I
about
think
these
he's gonna
gods?
live forever,
Solus
but
might be a
also
bastard,
just in the way
but
of
compared
like
to the Avenurus, let's just say they
if you
weren't
told
known
me
for
he
being
was gonna
kind
look exactly
rulers.
as he does for the
There's a
rest of
reason
all
Solus
eternity,
led
I would be
rebellion
like, yeah, that
against the
tracks. I don't know
Evangelist.
why, it just feels
The
right.
reason he imprisoned them.
Post-apocalypse Malone.
Of all the ancient things to unearth, of course it had to be two of the Evanurus, and of course it had to be you that unearthed them.
Tareth is in bad shape. We need to get him back to the camp.
We've still got dozens of veil jumpers unaccounted for.
How can we help?
We need to find Belial.
It's interesting to run into a
Vader.
group so relevant to
She's
my
the
backstory
best
so
there is
soon.
at working with our ancient
I was wondering how they
Yeah.
would handle that. I assume you talk to these characters no
And
matter
also
what.
at blowing them up.
Yeah, I think
She was off
I want
looking
to
for
say that
another artifact
Harding
before
knew
this
them when I
ritual
was
shook
playing.
everything loose. If
So
anyone
there
can
was
get a
still some
handle on
familiarity,
all
but
this
I don't
wild
think
magic
I
and
knew
the
them.
artifact it's setting off, it'll be her.
Right. You get your friend back to your camp and... we'll find Balara.
Immersive. Neve,
Nev,
you are
you're
injured.
Stay here with the veil jumpers.
And it's my fault, and I feel
Feel
guilt over
headache.
it.
I'll be fine.
I know you want to help, but we don't know what we'll face out there.
Hitmonchan says that's
and
such a
you're in no
funny hat.
condition to
It's
fight.
such a funny hat. Sorry,
right.
I do want to ask your
Just
take
watch your
on
backs.
Neve's hat.
We'll meet you back. at
It
the
obviously
Veilguard
it's
camp.
glitching, so it looks
It's just
sideways.
south of here.
Lara's out near some elven
You know, no
ruins
game's
to the west.
perfect.
At least she was 3 days ago.
Even on max
I'd start your
settings.
search
Even on max
there.
settings, but it looks
Good
really
luck,
good.
Rook. And thank
I do
you.
wonder how it's attached. Like, is it like a headband and it's got a thing on the side? People
Yeah.
wear like berets like that.
And it kind of has a veil as part of it, and that could be structural.
Right.
And that makes you wonder about the name, the Veilguard.
It's just it's her hat.
Perhaps it's her hat the whole time.
Never been to this part of Arlathan before. This fog's strange.
I do appreciate this
It all
forest
feels a
is
little
like
off. Like everything shifted a little bit.
you get a lot of forests in video games, but it's
Is
usually
that
like a
suit of
spring
armor
summery forest. I like jumping right off the bat. It's like, yeah, it's autumn. It's
Right.
Nice some reds and oranges.
Picture perfect dodges to me are an everyday affair. We're playing on adventurer difficulty, the mediumest of them all.
Is that where you usually land?
Gotcha.
Depends on the game. It's the type of thing where if I play it on normal and I really like the combat, I might turn it up on hard.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes it's like,
Where'd you come
it's not about the combat anyway. I don't want to think
Balara?
about it too much.
Balara Lutair?
But the combat's been fun so far.
Sent us to find you.
Yeah, I think the only game I turn it up to
didn't you
harder
used to
is
be a
like
veil jumper?
Spider-Man.
You
Just 'cause I
left with
really
Barrett.
like that
What was
combat.
your name?
And it's fun to do it
Well,
perfectly.
At least that's the nickname
Yes.
Barrett gave me.
Lace Harding.
That feels like the only canon way to progress is to be this absolute acrobat.
Yeah.
God.
We've been gone 3 days.
Well, the situation's changed. For the worse, unfortunately. The elven gods Elgornon and Gillinan have
We
escaped
got lots of
Fenrir's
comments
prison.
on the hat in the
And
chat.
It seems like they want to destroy the world.
Yep.
Card941 says, I was so happy when I found armor for Neve that excluded hats.
Very much for the worse.
Someone
Okay,
says, just like how Solus turned on you in the last game, Neve's hat is going to turn on you in this one. I like that.
It's a lot to take in.
Veilguard becomes the
Does
Veil
sort of explain a few things,
sword?
though.
Veil...
Like what?
Or you find out there's some
Knight?
kind of evil
Raw magic in
ratatouille
the
underneath
area.
it.
Oh,
Artifacts
whoa!
started waking up a while ago, but in
Not the
fits
evil
and starts.
ratatouille.
One here, a couple there. Then a couple of
And then
days
someone
ago,
says they think the hat is called a
sky
fascinator.
split open. And now,
Yes, of course, in the
raw
Kentucky
magic,
Derby style.
thick as fog.
Okay,
A god
yep.
or gods could have done that. There's something kind
Fascinator,
of exciting
frankly, I
about
hardly
it.
know her.
And dangerous, really dangerous.
But now I know her a
Dangerous
little
enough
better.
that I was gonna head back to the
Now we
Veil
know her.
Jumper camp, but
But what?
see that shimmer? That's a veil.
Good looking
bubble.
shimmer.
It's separating us from the
I truly
rest
have
of the
been
real
noticing the
world,
shadows the
so to speak.
most.
You can only pass
You know, I don't
through
have the
one
most
way.
perfect
Once
eye
you're
for all
in,
this stuff.
You can't get out.
But the shadows, cannot remember looking at shadows in a game on this PC, at the very least,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, that just looks like shadows look in real life.
Yes. Yeah.
The way the shadows of the tree foliage kind of
That means you got
fades
an
versus
idea.
the, like,
Maybe a bubble like
tightness
that? There
of a
has
person's
to be
shadow.
Something at the center that's
I think it's that and the
something
hair for me.
powerful. If we
Yeah.
can find it and remove it safely, I mean.
Yeah, the hair
bubble
draping
itself
over
should
shoulders and
collapse.
stuff has been impressive.
And
Yes.
then we're back in reality? I really, really hope so.
Well then, let's get going.
The good shadows are RTX ambient occlusion, so ray tracing ambient occlusion, which I have been learning what all these things are after seeing them in settings for so long. But that has to do with the way shadows like pool on the ground, the way they disperse in a way that's more realistic over complicated ground textures. Like the ground is really bumpy. It's not just an illusion. Like the ground actually has those bumps on it. Let's head into the settings and see what we're freaking working with here, huh?
Whoa.
So yeah, I have it on 60 for now for streaming and recording at 60. Before the stream, I was playing on at 165 frames on the monitor, and it looked perfect, and it was great at 2K. We've got DLSS upsampling, which is their AI like making or the frame generation is their AI making the frames in between other frames, which I don't understand how it's possible that they're generating completely additional frames.
In such fast, at such a high frame rate too.
Yeah, in a way where you don't feel it like taking the time to do that. NVIDIA Reflex is the other big thing that works especially well with the 4000 series cards, which is about input
Sorry, I was
latency.
gonna say, Hanson says maybe turn off the overlay because it's covering up some of the words of the stats.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so yes, here's what we're working with. NVIDIA DLSS on. You've got other options as well. But that's the one built for this graphics card, which again is the 4090 Founders Edition. Upsample quality, I've got it on quality for the stream. You know I'm a performance man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite an ultra performance man, but I am a performance man, and you can ask anybody. The NVIDIA Reflex is on, which they claim gives you a competitive advantage, you know, in shooters and things where reaction time actually matters. It's all about shortening the length of time between your input and the game receiving your input.
Gotcha.
I can't tell because I win no matter what in any situation, unhindered.
Right.
But I would love to hear more thoughts on that.
You don't even need high performance mode or ultra performance mode or whatever it was called.
I basically live in ultra performance mode in a manner of speaking.
You're just kind of built like that.
Here's all my precious shadow settings I love so much. Your ambient occlusions, your screen space reflections. Ray tracing is down here. which we have no choice but to stand. I haven't seen too many reflective puddles in this. You know, I don't think that's where they've leaned into having the best reflections. But hopefully we find some more ray tracing.
I think there's some water coming up.
Oh, sick. I'll look forward to that water. And so this is, again, max settings, which I normally wouldn't play a game on. Even with this graphics card, which can handle it, it's like, I'll do a little under max settings just to make sure I get the highest frame rate, and that's how much of a performance fool I am.
I'm gonna make so I said that it'd be funny if there was a character named Maxwell Settings. I think his sidekick should be named Raymond Tracing. And you get to pick which one is you.
Raymond Tracing is pretty cute.
Okay. I'll be Maxwell Settings.
Okay, see that you are.
I've been trying to get to the artifact at the center of the bubble, but these magical constructs keep getting
Maxwell Settings.
We've handled our share of demons. A few dozen
That's
more
it.
shouldn't be a problem.
Spirits.
Oh, Raymond Tracing!
They're animating
Whoa.
those armor. The armor's attuned to the artifact.
Look at my fantasy
to
accent.
protect it from threats.
Crisp.
Threats like us, I'm guessing.
Love to pick up on the jump button. We love how that tends to go.
Okay, yeah, here's some water.
Damn, that shimmery water. That, I believe, is what ray tracing is really about, is like straightforward reflections games have been able to do for a while, a straight like mirror, if you're planning with that in mind. Some games are like, we can't work it with our engine and we just have all mirrors broken. But it's the complicated reflections that have to do with light bending in a realistic way that have always been tricky. That's pretty sick.
Proof. It's Mr. Maxwell Settings, whose voice has now changed more into my own.
Uh-huh.
Then let's deal with them.
This is up to my level of quality.
Wow. We're softening old Maxwell Settings even.
Yeah, I'm not quite won over it yet. You're gonna have to show me a variety of high-performing graphics card settings, perhaps over the following hour and a half.
And then perhaps through a nearly monthly series showcasing new games?
Let's see about that. Let's see if you impress me with this one. I'm also the president of NVIDIA, I should have mentioned.
Wow. What an honor.
You're welcome.
Hold up, I forgot how to play. It's been too long between combat sequences and I forgot how to play completely. Get over here.
Is there like a quick fire on the bow, or do you have to?
There is a quick fire, but it is still aimed. Yeah, that's not tracking automatically. Let's hit him with some of this.
Beyblade style.
Beyblade style. You know I do a Beyblade style.
So what
Beyblade is one of those
artifact we're
words
looking
that,
for,
like,
exactly?
if it wasn't already a thing, would be like a really cool fantasy word.
We might find some clues in the ruins, though.
The ancient Beyblade.
Nice to find ruins that haven't been.
It's like fantasy could take it.
Most people
Yeah.
are too afraid to go this deep into Arlathan, except us veil jumpers.
With how wild the magic's been here, I don't blame them.
Magic do be pretty wild out here.
Wow. I've never seen anything
Does the
like
rogue,
this.
are you casting spells like as a part of your class? Because I saw like a lightning ability. I just didn't know
Can't
like
be
the
what?
lore there.
We have to get over there.
Yeah, that's apparently momentum rather than mana is what they call that.
Okay.
So something you're building by getting hits in without getting hit yourself.
Are we just supposed to jump across?
Oh, no, we can make a bridge.
Look at that veil.
There should be a power crystal somewhere nearby.
Got it.
Bring it over here and slot it in.
Box pushing puzzle.
Easy. Ah, that's a
You
great
gotta love the magical crystals that float and follow
a
you.
resonance amplifier. It's drawing.
Yeah, that's a pretty
think
good way
in-
to handle it.
This area.
In what is it? Jedi Survivor, I think they have similar things, but you gotta force hold it. But it's still like floating balls that open the bridges and
We're ready.
stuff.
That's all that matters. Will you please deactivate this? Balara.
Can you tinker, Balara?
Do you have an outlet for your song parodies now that you don't do them at Game Informer over lunch?
I don't. I honestly, I had kind of a. It wasn't depressing because it was like an active effort I had to do every day. But like, I don't think I've made a lunch song parody since I got laid off.
That's devastating to hear.
But there's only so many songs that exist. So it did become a thing at the end where if I hadn't had like a really productive week of just hearing songs and then being like, oh, I gotta do that, I would just go on Spotify and look up like most popular songs. It also has to be like, I was the youngest of the Game Informer crowd, so it kind of also had to be like, all right, what's a song that your average 32-year-old white person would know? Because I can't just drop in like, I don't know. There's like rap songs I'd put in and that would get no response or something.
Sure.
Or like, I also like musical theater a lot, but sometimes I would drop in like a song from Hadestown or whatever, and people would be like, I don't know what that is. That's fair. That's fair. But sometimes you're just so passionate about it, you know, you just got to do it.
It's not for them.
Correct.
It's so you better enjoy your lunch.
The best alignment was
That's the last of the
Escape the City from Sonic Adventure 2, where it was truly just for me. But I think that was when it occurred to people that they could be enjoyable. It was a big deal.
Sure. That must have been a breakthrough.
It really was. It's kind of like I turned my songwriting process up to the max settings.
Whoa.
Something like that.
Something like that. I got no rings. Cringe. No rings, no amulets.
magic energy. Path should be clear ahead.
The blue shields on these guys, I have to shoot arrows to bring them down more, which I am presuming is like a translation of a magic thing. It's like using magic attacks to bring magic shields down.
It's on the mage. I think it's just the ranged attack. On the mage, it's like you pull out your staff and you shoot like a beam of magic.
Right.
Damn. Another central construct. We'll have to take it down.
Perfect parry.
Easy enough.
I went for the move where you can attack from a extended dodge, from a dodge or extended dodge, I believe. Which, pretty slick animation.
Never gets old.
That extended dodge.
Can anything here tell us what that artifact is?
I have a theory, but we're miles away from where that artifact should be.
Oh, what's up? Can you tell you what to do again?
I think you need an orb.
I need an orb. Oh, just this. Oh, I see. It's one of these.
Yeah, it's hard for me to direct you when there's the delay because sometimes you'll walk right up to him like, yeah, he's about to get it, and you keep going. I'm like, I don't know. I'll just wait and see if he figures it out.
For me, the changeable thing in that equation is your trust of me. We can lower that.
Yeah, well, I'm like, Leo's a smart adult, and he knows what he's doing. He's playing on the max setting, so I'm sure
we got to work on that instinct. Because remember, I'm in character as Raymond tracing and not even being myself right now.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I trust ray tracing way less than I trust Leo Vader.
Right.
Chat has been dry for the last 5 minutes, and I've been avoiding confronting this one message. I was just hoping someone else will say something, but I feel like I just got to. Athram says, "You guys tried to create Megamind?" And I don't know if that's if that's a request of like was that something you did, or if they're saying your character looks like Megamind?
Because I got a big head, because I got horns? Do you really think that's okay?
Megamind doesn't have horns. Crucially. Just big-headed dude. Have you seen Megamind?
No. Is he missing?
Is he missing?
I haven't seen him. Are we looking for him?
Megamind it's like a movie that is to like some people in my age group very important to them because they saw it at like the correct age. But it's not a very good movie, I don't think. It's fine. It's fine. I feel like people are gonna get mad at me for saying Megamind. It's not great. It's fine. It's no Shrek, you know.
Yeah.
Ancient elves use them to store knowledge.
The hero in Megamind dies, right? Or he fakes his death?
Spoilers. Yeah, no, he fakes his death. I mean, the plot of the movie is like, what does the villain do when the hero dies?
Right.
But then the hero didn't die, so it's fine.
I feel like if they made that movie 10 years earlier, the hero would have died.
I initially didn't like it because I went into it. I just really liked superheroes. And I was like, oh great, a cool superhero movie. But then the hero's not around for very long, so I was like, this is just kind of about a sad guy. But then I saw it I saw it as an adult and I was like, okay, I understand what they're doing a little more, but I'm still not like crazy about it. Cactus Corp says, could you guys try to make the character look more like a minion?
Sure.
Which I like how polite of a question that is. It's not just make them look like a minion, it's like, did you guys try this?
Yeah, just as long as you put in the effort. You try, you win. That's my first discovery of that move, is you can do the launch into the heavy attack and go right back down. And that's pretty cool.
Until today.
How do you feel about these dark spawn?
Another one of those resonance amplifiers.
Oh, they seem nice.
Once I shut it down, the path ahead
You just
will
killed
remain
like
blocked until the
7
magic
of them.
dissipates.
We've got your back.
We were just playing. We were just playing around.
Oh, okay. Chat, nobody tell them.
Yeah, they're just asleep.
Nobody tell them what happened.
Wow, clean.
Sorry, give me 2 seconds to see what you did. It was so clean. Wow, clean.
Thank you. There we go.
Flips off sick. You said you like having the high crit chance and like the roguey style. Like that's your go-to.
Yeah, the skill-based stuff of like hitting the weak points I think is fun, even if I don't do it very often. It just adds an element of like tension of trying for it.
I always like the idea of it, but then the like execution barrier is always enough for me to be like, oh, I'm not actually I'm not a super good lord.
Sure.
And by I mean Maxwell settings.
Yes. Your friend Charles is amazing.
He's great.
Premature on that one.
I saw your reticle just hovering over the. Oh, okay, you did hit it. Say just the explosive barrels. They're so tempting.
I know. What if this ends and I haven't shot them all?
You can still shoot them.
But
Probably.
not killed no guys. This is perfect. No, they do. Okay, that's fine. How are you feeling about turret sequences these days?
That's a great question I was going to ask you about.
Too bad.
Dang it, I'll never know. I think they're fine. I liked this one because you feel like the turret is really powerful.
That is the key.
And the fact that you just fought a bunch of these guys, and it's like, yeah, it takes a few hits to bring them down. So then to launch a turret into like 4 of them and kill them instantly, you're like, okay, this is a big deal, huh?
You gotta feel empowered. When it's taking like multiple hits from a machine gun to kill somebody, it's like,
yes.
Why are we
Should be
doing
the
this?
last one, I hope. Me too.
Okay, I need to play carefully. I'm out of potions. And out of time. Go, Tinker. Peeking past my cat, the 4090 unfortunately has not fixed that issue with my setup. Is that my cat's in front of my monitor every second of every game I've ever played. But they are working on it.
Yeah, I think cat ejection.
Yes.
I don't think I'm gonna try to rotate my monitor and see if the camera doesn't. Oh no, there's someone behind us. It won't work. My cat is just out of frame.
We're close. I can feel it.
Luckily sleeping, specifically so it doesn't get in the way of my max performance. Because I'm also playing this game off screen at the same time.
But doing better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
No offense, Ray.
Have you noticed something about
You're
the
good, you're
light?
good.
Where it is, I mean? It's almost like
Jolly Good now
it's
says F,
elven
Marry,
magic.
Kill, Disney DreamWorks Illumination.
F, Marry, Kill, Disney Dreamlight Valley.
F the Valley.
I watched Despicable Me 4 very recently, courtesy of Illumination.
Uh-huh.
Shouts out. And I kind of forget that they're like, and this is maybe says more about me than about them, but I forget that they're like a real animation company that wants you to think their movies are pretty.
Okay. So I kind of thought you were gonna, that was gonna kind of end with how you felt about it.
Buildings what I think it is.
I was impressed with it on a technical
Okay.
level, almost in a max settings type of way, despite me being Raymond
Where what
Tracing.
was
Nice
that?
to see you.
The archive spirit.
You said it in like, yeah, I forgot they wanted to try.
I really
Like,
did.
in a way
You
where I
know,
was like,
it's
it's like, okay,
What is that?
do you think they succeeded? It just wasn't very clear. I'm like, I forgot they cared, huh?
the vibe of them in my mind is like, whatever, we'll make some stupid minion stuff for little babies.
Talio 2010 in the chat also does say Bolara can heal you, which is can be like little ability.
What's that?
Bolara can heal you.
That's right up there. It's called a soothing potion. Cool. Thank you.
Anyways, I would probably marry Disney F DreamWorks Kill Illumination. That feels like the correct order. I don't know.
Disney's gonna have a nasty prenup.
Just don't get divorced.
Yeah, thankfully
you're
we'll
not-
be in love forever.
You're not committed? The nice thing about marrying Disney is if I die, then they can just freeze my remains. Or no, if I come close to dying, sorry.
Right.
Freeze my remains and then I'll live forever.
Hell yeah. I want to get better at not continuing my combo once the fight's over. I feel like it could be really cool finales, but I'm just mushing too much.
That's also I mentioned Spider-Man earlier. It's always the worst when you knock the guy out and then you get like the slow-mo and you're just like have just started doing an uppercut. So then he's just flying up in the air. It's like, he's so cool. It's like, you're not hitting anyone's fighting.
He's just pumping his fist in the air. jumping for joy.
Speaking of max settings, have you seen the Wild Robot?
No.
Good lord.
Yeah.
What a movie. What a film. That's a DreamWorkser right there.
Is that DreamWorks?
Mm-hmm.
Good on them. I was reflecting recently on Shrek and his cultural power. And I think it's so amazing how, like, they have been making Shrek movies.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have to. And he would have the exact same place in our culture if they had not made a Shrek movie since Shrek 2, you know?
Right.
I don't think the movies are keeping him relevant. It's just purely in the hearts of people everywhere.
Yeah. Calling him powerful is such a good adjective because he can do a lot.
Almost in this terrifying way.
Yeah.
That we have no other way of, like, measuring or understanding. Besides calling it Shrek-like.
That's my favorite genre of video game.
Yes.
You can hit walls. I don't know if the delay is
like this wall? Yes, thank you. The answer was yes.
Okay, cool. Anyways, yeah, Shrek 1 good, Shrek 2 great. Shrek the Third I think is fine probably. I remember seeing it as a kid in theaters and it being like, whoa, there's little Shreks now. That's so cool. I don't remember Shrek 4.
Shrek 4, he hates his family, and he loses them by getting robbed by Rumpelstiltskin, essentially, in some kind of tricky wish situation. And he learns that he should be happy that he has a wife and children.
Okay, that sounds like a Shrek movie, you know?
Sure.
And then Puss in Boots 1, I don't think I ever saw. Puss in Boots 2,
The Last Wish?
Also, yeah, goated. Very good.
Yeah, good things, good things.
All that's left is the Nordistrathalin. I have so many questions for it. How do you ask it?
Pretty good chest opening in this game. Credit where it's
Mm-hmm.
due on that.
It's an archive spirit. You'll see.
Rich Baddick Game says, I watched Shrek 4 in 3D. LOL. Gamer 3D didn't really catch on. I wonder a version of max settings where you play this game in 3D. If that could exist one day.
That would be awesome. Honestly, it wouldn't, because the viewer wouldn't see it in 3D, but...
So we take it and we're good, right?
Could we just...
But I still want to do it for New Show Plus.
I wish. No,
Yeah,
it's a
they made
lot
some 3D
trickier
games,
than
right?
that.
But you needed a 3D TV?
Yeah, I think like Arkham City was 3D.
Okay, I thought so. I never played a game in 3D. Actually, no, that's a lie. The 3DS exists.
Right.
But other than that...
I'm sure we can handle it.
It isn't that simple. If I remove the artifact,
I'm gonna sprint across the house
way
for 3
I
seconds.
usually do it, it'll
Go for it.
explode and take out half of Arlathan with it. Good
What
news
would
is,
the
I
best
think I can shunt the energy somewhere
3DS
else. Okay.
game to play on max
Here we
settings
go.
be? Maybe Ocarina 3D? I'm trying to think of like what's a really nice looking game on
The way the magic is
3DS.
pulsing. I've never
Also,
seen this
apologies if
before.
someone's trying to really pay attention to these cutscenes. I imagine that's not why you're here,
Almost
but
like it's
I can't hear it, so I'm just talking over it. Oh, you know, is this gonna launch right into a boss fight? Is Leo gonna make it back in time? This will be fun to see.
Yo, I'm back. React harder.
Oh. Woohoo!
I had to turn the heat off. It was getting hot.
That's an ogre.
Because of the power of this 4090. Actually, just bent out a check. It is dead silent. Which, of course, has to do with cooling in the computer and stuff that's set up well. But, very nice.
Significant that even though the house is hot.
Yeah. Well, you know, it might be making the room a little hot. That's always been the case when I like play the finals and stuff. Is it just the longer I play, the room really does change. Marie will come in here and be like, "What is going on? Why is it so much hotter than the rest of the house?" That's gamers doing what we do, baby.
Gamers make it hot.
Gamers make it hot.
This would be a t-shirt.
Pretty forgiving, like, dodge as far as
I do appreciate
being in the
that.
middle of attack and dodging out of it.
Yes.
Not forgiving enough for me to be doing well.
Also, we're not
forgiving.
talking enough about the fact that we were just talking about Shrek. You are now fighting an ogre.
I'm fighting who? An ogre?
Ogre.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's cool.
That is cool. Sometimes the universe has a wicked sense of humor. Yes, be stunned. No, be stunned more.
Tell you this, I don't have that quick recover move as a mage.
Oh, interesting.
I can do the... Was that a skill tree thing, or is that just a thing you had?
I think I just have it.
Okay, yeah. I can do cool, my dodge is like a teleport thing.
I feel like I've been doing that sometimes.
Okay, yeah, I think mine looks a little different, but that part seems like functionally identical, but I don't have the reacts.
Right. Catch your puck, thank you so much for the sub. This special combo going out to you. Oh, this ultimate's going out to you even. Devastating though it may be. Yes. I was confident in the last hit. I didn't overdo it. Hope you enjoyed.
Let's go. Yep.
Well, wasn't expecting to
Ultra
fight
performance
an
mode
ogre
equals hot
today.
rooms.
Then
Good
again,
cooling
I
works by
also
putting more
didn't
heat into your
expect
room.
to learn
True.
that my gods are rampaging around
Excising
trying
it.
to end the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of those days. Okay.
Thanks so much for
Let's
killing Shrek for these people.
see.
He has a lot of staying power and cultural cachet until now.
Until
When
I
I
killed him.
There we
I
go.
cut him a lot of times.
I guess I'm the one with staying
No,
power.
Donkey
good.
will remember that. Chances.
Ooh, what does that crystal do?
Dude, I would love a Shrek,
Artifact power.
Shrek game by
Pieces
Don't
begin
Nod
to get magical
by the
energy.
Life
Yes.
is
Might
Strange
even
team.
still work thousands of years later.
What are you doing, Donkey?
No, you don't.
And then you get to say what you're doing. I'm
Donkey's
making
like,
waffles or I'm making foie gras.
For breakfast, I think I have. And then you get waffles or
Water.
parfait.
I'm making water.
Now that's max settings material.
True.
Imagine the fur on Donkey.
Well then,
I am the Nadas Dertharan.
right.
Imagine.
I have questions.
I am the Nadas Dertharan.
Imagine fur on Donkey.
What do you...
You're always working. That's why you need an outlet.
It's just the running word association thing. I'm just laughing now thinking about John Lennon just
So that's
trying
the
to imagine fur
Nostradamus.
on.
If he was born
DreamWorks
30 years
I
later.
mean,
If he was
crystal's broken,
around
though.
for
Needs
Donkey,
fixing.
Oh my god, that breaks my heart.
Kind of my thing. Fixing magical
That
stuff.
he'll never be around for Donkey.
he'll never be around for Donkey. Donkey will have to be around for him.
Strife
Don't
and
think about
Irulan
that
will
too
want to
hard.
know about
That
this.
sounds.
And the Blight. And the Darkspawn. Let me know when you're ready to head to the Veil Jumper camp.
Other Shrek Beatles parodies? Is that what you're silently thinking of too?
No, but I should have. I'm trying to think of an Eleanor Rigby. That's one that always comes to my head.
Okay. Ambitious, I feel, but I want it. I want it for you.
The rhyme scheme on that is really generous. As odd as it seems. You just need you need the Eleanor Rigby name.
Right.
Like Farquaad is tiny. Has little legs when he walks in the room.
Yeah.
What's another Beatles song?
Ready to go?
He do be tiny.
Did
Is
you
there a
what?
chest here or something?
Let's look around a little more.
Oh, sorry.
Was I too eager to leave? Yeah, there's a chest right here.
Okay, yeah.
Ooh. For Ballara. Okay. I wanted it. TBH.
Ready to go?
Right. Let's get moving.
Come on. I'll show you the way to the Veil Jumper camp.
Gumdrops on the guy in buttons. Warm.
Okay. I've abandoned my the heart, it's gotta come to you, you know. The best ones are when it comes to you, or sometimes you have to sit and like, man, I'm glad I don't work at Game Forum anymore because I don't have to be embarrassed about it, where I would be like, I'm gonna go on lunch, but I am gonna take 10 minutes before I announce the lunch break because I gotta think of a good song. And no one's gonna know, and it'll be fine. But it is a thing. Sometimes I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, wasting everyone's time.
Yeah, they're waiting.
Think of a thing.
It really is like if you were a smoker, you would get to take smoke breaks.
That's true. But I mean, how often do you get to chain the smoke break into the lunch break immediately after?
That's meta.
No, it doesn't
That's
count
max
actually.
settings.
Those 10 minutes, that was for smokes.
You're back.
Unless I was
And
eating
you're
my
alive.
cigarettes for lunch.
Good.
Whoa.
Which
Sounds
sometimes
like
you have
things
to with
gotten
these
a lot worse
prices.
since we left.
Darkspawn. They're showing up all over.
Wait, sorry. Let's unpack that real quick.
Yep.
So is the price of food really high, or is the price of cigarettes so cheap?
Cigarettes
like,
are
I mean,
the price of cigarettes is really high. I
Oh,
recently
okay.
witnessed somebody quitting smoking in real time. It was like this trucker who was in the gas station
Ask it about the gods.
trying to buy cigarettes, and they gave him the price, and he was like, "That's ridiculous." I guess today's the day I quit smoking, and he just left.
That's so funny.
Whatever information that archive spirit has, we aren't getting it. It's broken. Luckily, we already know what to do next. Find Elgar.
I had a boss at my first job who would go to the parking lot and smoke a full cigar in his
Easier
car
said
every
than
day.
done.
In his car?
Yeah.
Gods.
How long does it take to smoke a full cigar?
But
He could pound it in 30 minutes.
So that's it?
Okay.
Two gods are running around
Chugging a
the forest and you
cigar.
can't find them?
Well, the next time
One long drag.
unleash ancient
I had a
horrors on
friend
us.
who,
Maybe we'll
when he was in driving
Demeter's
school,
Crossing.
he was doing like his in-car instructions,
Strife.
and his
When we came in,
driver
you
would
said
stop
you'd
like
lost contact
twice
with
in
Demeter's
his
Crossing.
hour-long session to take a
We could go
smoke
check it
break.
out. The three of
Which I
us,
thought
I
was
mean.
really funny.
4. I'm coming
Like,
with
you're
you.
paying for the full hour, but
Nev,
you're getting
you were
45
still
minutes because you've
shaky,
got to stop
and
and smoke.
I'm coming,
Right.
Harding.
I don't know what you're going to find there, Rook. Likely nothing.
Well, who
good.
works for the full hour?
You'd be saving.
What
So
hourly
real.
employee works for the
And
full
it
hour?
might get you on the trail of the gods.
Demeter's Crossing's on the far side of the lake. There's a small
Besides
boat in the
streamers.
docks. It'll take you there.
Right.
Try not
We're,
to
we're dialed
or
in.
make things
Yeah,
worse.
we take our job
And
seriously.
Rook,
Yeah?
watch your back.
Hello, Lando.
Story so far. With the team's help, Ballara disabled the artifact and freed them from the Veil Bubble. She also uncovered an ancient repository of elven knowledge, the Nodus Durthalin. While Ballara intends to unlock its secrets, she has joined the team as they search for the escaped elven gods.
Okay.
Here we
Need a
go.
boat to get
Have
there.
you fought any of the elven
Let's head
gods?
to the dock.
No.
I'm guessing they're big.
I don't actually know if they are.
Oh, I hope they are.
Because Solus is one of them, and he's not like a big dude personally.
No, he's normal.
Have a look.
You sound really upset about it.
I am!
Oh,
I'm in with the Veil Jumpers, supposedly. 150 out of 3,200. What you got for me?
oh boy. So many pets.
will become. How does this work? I'm buying an upgrade for my current.
Yeah, so I had an instance where I bought like a helmet and then I found that helmet later, and in finding it, it upgraded the item.
Cool.
So you get that thing. So I think you have Storm Needle already, but if you pay for it, you get the next benefit of
Which
it.
includes a new perk on it.
Yeah.
Penetration goes through armor, not through targets. Too bad.
The first shop in an RPG is always difficult because you don't have a sense of like
How often
what's
you'll be
good.
getting things.
How often am I getting things? Like you always buy the thing and then either you go to the next dungeon and then it's like, here's the exact sword you bought, or like, here's a sword slightly better than the sword you just bought. It's like, well, why did I buy anything ever?
Yeah, but it sounds like the getting the same thing upgrades it might fix that a little bit.
That's true.
That pain point.
Send your friends my way.
But I'm still not ready to make a purchase.
I sure hope that dagger has a pain point.
Delightful.
Seems like a lot's happened around here.
I have, of course,
What hasn't happened?
played the finals
This area
at max
is where
settings at this point on Ultra
Tibetan
2K.
destroyed Arlathan City centuries ago.
And it's gorgeous. And I'm so happy.
Lot of blood magic during
Streamed it in
the war.
Discord at 60 frames at the same time, and it still ran perfectly.
Whatever Solus
Ooh.
did stirred up everything.
Is that your
again.
go-to
The old blood
shooter these
magic from
days?
the war
Big time.
never went away.
They got a Halloween event going on right
Ancient
now.
relics
Oh.
appear out of
So I've
thin
been
What does
air.
that
playing
look
every
like?
day for sure. It's like you spin a wheel
It's like
for a chance at getting Halloween
an
stuff, and
old
you can
wound
get it
that
all for
never
free if you're
healed.
lucky. Otherwise, you have to pay a
And
few
now
bucks
it's
to fill in the
bleeding again.
gaps to get the reward for completing everything. Community's pretty divided on it because they haven't had that kind of like FOMO thing before of
Yeah.
you won't get a chance to get everything. And people forget that in most games, there's no chance to get everything ever, and you have to pay for it. And
Yeah.
that's just the world you're living in, and in every other game. But because the finals has been so nice, people are like, this is so inhumane that they're doing this to us. Which, of course, it is not a step in the right direction, but I don't think it's wrong. It's just like when you're doing something with random chance, spinning the wheel, and it gradually feels worse and worse as you get more things. You gradually
Yeah.
are getting less and less. That increasing the pressure to like just buy your way out of it, that just, yeah, it doesn't feel good.
How often are you do you microtransact?
In the finals, it is a decent amount. I feel like $50 a season I end up putting in, including the battle pass.
How long's the season?
3 months.
Okay. I mean, that's money, but it's not like a monthly
Ned,
season.
You sure you're up for this?
No, and
I'm
it is.
fine. Couldn't sit still much
I
longer.
play 100 hours a season.
Then let's go.
It is my game. I didn't put much money in season 3 because I was saving more money then. I can turn it off when I need to.
Sure.
I don't have a problem.
Hey, Ray, I believe you.
I've never seen fog this thick
Sorry,
in
let me
Demel's
flip that.
crossing.
Leo, I believe you. Ray, I'm on the other hand.
Ray's not to be trusted.
You know how funny it is in improv when you're like, instead of yes and, you're like, actually I'm gonna undo what I said real quick. Let's pretend I didn't do that. And all the audience is like, this is fun. We're on
This
board.
isn't right. The dock usually has people.
I love coming
bringing
out to these.
goods to market, bartering and shouting.
I
I
feel
want to
like
let
you,
them try as many times as they can until they get it right.
Something
you
happened.
could go like, oh, I have the Adam Sandler click remote and I'm going back 20 seconds. It's all allowed in improv, you know? You're crafting a story together.
When I did start doing improv, it was like I was surprised by how many rules there are. Of like, and I guess rules is maybe a strict thing, but just like there are ways you can improv, and it's like that's
So
hard. Like the thing I didn't realize
Too
is
quiet.
you're not supposed to ask questions. They try to steer you away from asking questions.
That
because
makes sense. I feel like that's my improv weakness. I'm always like
It's
just
marketing.
setting people up
People
with
should be
questions.
selling
And
Yeah.
I think it's fun because they often don't have anything, and that's fun, but that
Yes.
works in specific settings and not necessarily a scene.
To keep something out?
it locks you into like now you have to answer that question, but then it becomes things of sometimes it's like a gift, right? Of like, oh, and your dad loves pumpkins or whatever.
Yeah.
It's blight.
What other times
Even
it's
worse than in the
yeah.
forest.
No. You okay? What happened
No.
here?
Keep them inside. Listen to the mayor.
Hello?
I don't think he can hear us.
Evil mayor alert.
Everyone has to stay. No, you can't leave.
Hey, can you hear me?
Just stay here, and everything will be fine.
Okay.
Someone used powerful magic to dominate the minds of these villagers.
This is a section that very much is my like. Huh, this could be a D&D thing. Huh.
Interesting. As far as you'll just lift certain concepts from it for our campaign.
Look at that.
I just like the. Yeah, just the loose premise of like. I don't know. This isn't actually even that dissimilar to what we did at our MinnMax one shot of like you go to a town but something's wrong. Except you guys figured out what was wrong immediately, so it wasn't as much of a mystery.
Stay sharp.
This I feel like I have a few guesses what's wrong as well.
It might be these big pulsating
What's going on
orbs.
here?
Who's to
Have these
say?
always been here?
Bring them to me.
He's always been a part of
Talking
the
about
town.
Jahel and Nova.
Did you build your buildings inside these roots? Because that would be really hard.
Yeah, impressive.
Why were they looking for veil jumpers? What did the mayor want with them?
This game really loves these tiptoe across a thin bridge sequences.
Great example of like disproportionately common in video games versus real life.
Yeah, such a low chance that that would be set up in a helpful way.
That it could be there and be like load bearing also. So, like you could step on it and it wouldn't
right.
immediately crumble.
Squeeze through. Take a shot. Another disproportionate thing.
Yeah.
Nova!
Another veil jumper.
Cactus Corp says max orbs.
Max orbs.
Blora.
New show.
Or
That's
just
just
like
GDC.
Jahel! He's alive!
What the hell?
Chen says, how do we get another MinnMax
We're going to
D&D?
help you. We'll get you down, Jahel.
I think the answer, I have talked to Hanson about it before, and the consensus is basically just, it takes a lot of time and prep, and you want to make sure everyone's compensated properly for the time, and like if it's going to be a big event, where it is fully possible it'll happen again, but it's probably more of like a special occasion thing than a regular thing.
Right. Maybe it can be a charity stretch goal or something though for our charity stream on the 23rd.
Sure. Yeah, and I'm always down, but I think it's a thing of logistically, the time we spend on that is time we could be spending somewhere else that would be more productive for like I think MinnMax's primary goals and such. But.
Yeah. But it was so fun, and the last one was such a success. One of the best pieces of content on the channel.
A critical success.
Oh my god.
Come on.
I've done it again.
You're just always making these connections. Did you like doing improv?
Yeah, I'm at like week 7, or no. My like.
You're doing it now?
Yeah.
Cool.
I started doing it like a month and a half ago. My like big show is on December 7th of our intro, big show, our horrible intro improv show.
Good luck. That's crazy. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's harder than I thought it would be, but it is. When it goes right, it's very, very serious.
Cool.
A hungry heart. Creature, come to me.
I've wanted to do it forever, but I'm too scared. Were you too scared or were you brave?
I was too scared for many. My brother has done improv for so much of his life. He like started doing it in high school. We went to the same high school, and I remember being like, I should join the improv club, but I never I like never signed up for whatever reason, and then Andre did it in high school and then at his college, and then he was like
You're the mayor of this town.
rehearsal captain, which is like the head of the improv group in his college group.
Blighted.
So he was like always very into it, so I would watch him do it all the time and be like, I could do that, but I never actually attempted. And then I was like, and in my brain I was like, yeah, I'm not in high school or college anymore, so it's too late to sign up. And I was like, this is stupid. I'm only 24. I have so much time in my life to try things. Let's just find the local improv theater and go for it.
You're not going anywhere until I get the full
Right on.
story.
Big respect for that attitude.
And the age range is very wide. Like there's, I'm one of the younger people there, but there's like a dude there that could be my grandpa.
Cool. Is he good?
Yeah, he's great. There's another guy there that is like a like band director. He's like probably in his like 50s or 60s, but it's just very weird to be like doing improv with a guy that like the last time I was in like a classroom setting, he would have been the type of guy in charge.
Yeah.
And instead we're like peers now, which is like an odd social restructuring.
That is interesting. Improv humbles us all.
To feel sorry for him?
And he in his last scene, or a particularly memorable scene, he used the word hussy. Oh, I didn't realize you were. I mean, I know we're all adults here. I just, for some reason, I thought you weren't allowed to say that
They
word.
were in his head.
Stop
Their
the scene.
influence might linger.
I understand what they do now. I won't be tempted again.
I do want to address the game. Just that there is a. This is a big.
Big choice.
Moment. We
Yeah.
didn't. We didn't talk about the dragon on screen the whole time it was on the screen. But,
No.
I don't know how are you feeling about this? Unless you've already made the decision and I missed it.
No, I haven't. He's kind of pretty damn culpable, but he was being influenced by these gods, and they have a power of which I cannot begin to comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough little choice. But ACAB includes mayors. I'm not sure. Unless I checked. Might be a few patch notes behind. What decision did you make?
I left him, and I don't regret it, but I was surprised by how cruel the thing was. Like, I was expecting them to just be like, I'll leave you to your fate, and then instead it was like, all right, we'll leave you to your fate. You deserve this.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah, I hope he dies slowly. And he's like, no, I'm gonna die slowly.
No.
And you leave him there. Honestly, yeah. Anyways, you make your choice.
I'll save him so you can see how different it is.
Let's get him out of
Okay.
there.
What? This entire village is dead because of him.
I know.
Then why spare him?
Oh, I didn't think I'd have to explain myself.
He's just a weak fool.
That's pretty. I feel like that's a good reckoning.
Greedy and pathetic.
Yeah.
With this decision.
That doesn't mean he deserves to die.
Thank you.
I didn't ask for your gratitude.
Then, if I may offer some advice,
Some nice capes in this game, of course.
steel yourself.
I don't have a cape.
Power. The
I like want a
promise
cape
is
on my
nice.
character.
Sucks to be
It's
you on that
irresistible.
one. Damn.
Then try harder next time. Don't make me regret saving you.
Yes, of course. But you should be worried about the rest of the world.
I got mind controlled. It wasn't me. Try harder next time.
Have a backup mind ready to go.
The fate had opened.
A mega mind, if
The
you will.
gods were free. Thanks to Solus, they'd woken up to find their empire, their
Okay,
subjects.
I thought they would show
even
him
their
getting
fellow
freed,
gods.
but they
I
kinda
thought
just
so
cut
too.
away.
Gone. But they still had the power of the blight. And
I do like
corrupting a
these
village
2D
was just
cutscene
the
things.
start.
Yeah, I don't mind
They
these at
made
all.
plans to tap more of the blight. All of it. To rebuild their empire. As a path to power, it had its costs. And everyone would pay for it.
fast travel. Let's go. Big sneeze coming up. That's a bad part about my cat wanting so much attention before the stream
allergic?
is, yeah, a little. I mean, I feel like anybody's gonna sneeze when a cat rubs his head into your nostril.
Sure, yeah. Usually, if you're prone to that, you wouldn't let it happen. But as someone who owns a cat, I do actually get it. So
yeah, thank you.
This is what's left of it after the war.
I don't imagine it floated.
it's a thing of like cats are so famously like antisocial, and people, if you're like really desperate to be like, pay attention to me, cat, they're like, I don't want you. You're trying too hard. So when you have a cat and they're just like, I'm gonna come and I'm just gonna sit on you right now, you're like, all right, I can't really. I'm so blessed to get to make this choice. You know?
I don't want to, have negative reinforcement for you deciding to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has been a thing of post getting Toaster the dog. Is he's so needy that I see the cats less often because he'll run up and he's just very intense, and the cats are like, I'm not about that energy.
Yeah. Would you say Kermit the Frog is tired and Toaster the dog is wired?
What?
Okay. Straightforward question.
They're dead.
Tired, Kermit the Frog,
sorry.
wired, Toaster the dog.
Gillinan
Agree,
sacrificed
disagree.
them in some kind of ritual.
Sure.
What about the rest of the village?
Kermit the Frog
The
does
ritual
generally
spread
seem
blood
pretty tired.
everywhere.
Wow,
Toaster the dog
I can't
is-
believe you just said that.
The
Is
few
pretty
survived
often
are controlled
wired.
by blood magic. Their minds are gone.
Wow.
Algernon and Gillinan use them like puppets.
Kermit the Frog and Shrek, who's the superior green guy with no hair?
Shrek's got hair. Not on his head.
No.
On his chest, I mean, I'm pretty
dare
sure.
say it was a show of force.
I had to clarify, specify. This lady's cool. I think I'm a Kermit guy.
Rest until you are on your knees,
Right on.
fearful, cowering, helpless in the face of such
Corboy
power.
says that's my wife from Dragon Age Origins.
Lady
I was
Morrigan?
literally going to
Tis simply
be like,
Morrigan to you, Scout
I hadn't
Harte.
seen people talk about
It's a
romancing
pleasure to
her,
see
and I
you
was pretty
again.
sure she came back from another
Rook,
instance
this is
based on the way
Morgan, an
Harding
old
recognized her.
Sure.
acquaintance.
But it's a thing
Thought
of
she could help.
none of the like women in the party. I was like,
If I
that's
were
my
part of it.
romance pick so far.
She
And then
knew
Morgan
more
showed
about
up, and I was like,
ancient
that's my
magic than
romance pick. And
anyone,
I was very quickly
except
like,
Solus.
oh, she's not on
Twas
the
both
table.
pleasure and necessity to help then, as it is now.
Are you usually a
Stopping Elgin and
romancer
shall
in
require
RPGs?
Many hands.
Rarely. I don't like do it for the sake of it. I definitely got to really like the
Sure.
character, because love to me is sacred, and it's.
Damn bars.
I know that's out of fashion these days.
Not enough
Then I
people are
look
talking
forward to
about
your
love is
help.
sacred.
How refreshing.
Did
Your
you play
cooperative
Baldur's Gate?
nature is appreciated in return.
Not
can you
really.
tell us
Not past the
about
first like 10 hours,
this?
which is nothing.
As dangerous as Solus himself
drop
may
in the
be,
bucket.
his imprisonment of the gods was just. To leave them unchecked would have been the very end of Thedas.
That's one where I romanced Shadow Heart.
Yeah.
This is our fault. When we
and
interrupted Solus's ritual, the gods escaped.
At the time, was like totally
Would
fine with
those
it, and I
feelings
like
not be better
Shadowheart as
used
a
to put
character.
things right?
Have begun to
how?
feel kind of weird about it
Set
only
aside your
because
notions of godhood and
the
see
actor
them
that
for
plays
the
Shadowheart
ancient, powerful
is
mages
gay.
They are. Standing
And
against them shall
it is like
require
a-
serious magic.
a
of your own.
thing of
When you interrupted the Dreadwolf's ritual, did
I don't
you
know. I
come
feel. I
across
just feel like
any
I
of the
feel.
tools
I see a
he
lot of
used?
queer women
He
being
had a
enthusiastic
dagger,
about romancing
got
the
lost
women
in
in
the
Baldur's
chaos.
Gate 3.
Then you would
And so
be
now
able to
I kind
find
of,
it.
in retrospect,
It's
I'm like, I
better
don't
in
know. If,
your
I know the
hands
game
than
says she's
those of the
for me, but I
gods.
don't feel like she is. I
Is
feel
there
like I shouldn't
anything
have
else Solus
romanced
might have
any
had
of
that could
them.
help us?
Interesting.
We're in his, well, he calls it the lighthouse.
Ah, yes, the legendary sanctum of the Dreadwolf. 'Tis said his Illuvian.
There's only
Verados,
one
could
in this
travel to
game of
any
like
other Illuvian of his
picking your
choosing.
Inquisition history.
That's not how it works right now.
I had
It
my
only goes to
Inquisition character
Arlathan.
be a woman, and there was
I
like
can take a look at it.
one character on
Maybe
who did you
fix it
romance
even.
that was you had
I
to
know
be a man
Illuvians
to
better than
romance
most.
this one.
Any help you can offer, we'd appreciate.
Which yeah, that's always an interesting choice that RPG designers have to make. Is like it's not wrong for them to have like a canon sexuality, but also it's like if you're the protagonist, why not bend it so that more people get to experience the content and it's like canon within their game? Like what's the difference really?
Yeah, I think in Baldur's Gate it feels kind of weird only because like the steps to unlocking the romance are things you could feasibly do. You do feasibly do without even trying that hard. So in that instance, it's kind of weird because everyone is really horny for you specifically, and you have to like constantly turn people down, as opposed to like if your character is just pursuing someone else, then it feels more like that makes sense in the canon of the story.
I shall render whatever assistance I am able.
If in Lord of the Rings, Frodo had to stop every 20 minutes and be like, Legolas, listen, I'm not into it. Gimli, sorry, I'm not into it. Aragorn, you're really nice, I'm not into it. Then all of a sudden the story is like, dang, everyone wants to get with Frodo. As opposed to Frodo just like having a really slow like arc with Sam specifically or something. It's like, all right, that tracks.
Right. Yeah, I think that's part of why I like to pick and choose. It's a little more sensical of a story. I do like to get into the role playing. The figuring out what the character is and what they would do. I almost said who they would do. Freudian. Freud would go nuts if he saw what you were getting up to in these video games.
He really would.
He'd have some thoughts.
Freud is so interesting because he's so fundamental to a lot of like scientific discussion in that people are like, Freud thought this, and we all kind of don't like that he thought that, but we kind of have to talk about it because no one stops talking about him.
He has a catchy name.
His name's always stuck in my head,
You
dude.
didn't take the shot. I destroyed the statue.
I did,
Who do you want to blame more
we were
for
talking
the
about D&D
outcome?
earlier. I made a
We all did what we
character
thought was best in the
I
moment.
specifically wanted my partner to hate in our campaign,
Trying to stop the world
and I
from
gave him
being
a
swallowed
German
by chaos,
accent, and I
and now
named
it
him
might be
Sigmund
swallowed
because she
by
really
chaos
hates Sigmund
anyway.
Freud.
Elven gods escape from their
And that's
prison
like
soulless
perfect
in
example of
decay,
D&D
and we're
logic of like
scrambling
I tried
to
so
figure out
hard
what
to
do.
like in a lab craft a character she really hated, and ended up they like grew very close by the end of our like 2.5-year campaign. Like, no,
You know,
I can't
I like
control
that
it.
about you, Lace. You don't
Enemies to
stop
lovers.
fighting, you push for
Enemies to
answers
lovers.
and
The
action,
universe,
while I
the
get
arc of
stuck
the
on
universe
questions forever.
brings enemies towards lovers.
We need someone
He's
who
just
can
so
put the pieces of the
pathetic.
puzzle together.
Has an
Fighting the
irresistible charm to him.
Exactly. Everyone has a part to play.
Yeah, that's a cute accent.
Varric brought us together because
That does
of our
have the
strengths.
heavy lifting.
He wanted a
He was
team he could
specific. I
rely
wanted
on.
specifically them to hate him because it was
that
like
team.
they got warped into
Play
another
to our
dimension and it was his fault.
And
so the first
rely
like
on
arc
each other.
ends with them being like,
think I
hey,
can
you can fight this like really
Then
scary
let's find
dragon and
Soul's
like maybe
dagger.
die, or you can just give
Start.
this annoying dude up and you'll be fine. And they had the character growth of like, we're gonna fight for him.
Wow. Like me and the mayor.
Just like you and the mayor. Which, by the way, did you see him again?
Nope. It said in the post-quest wrap-up that we saved the mayor, but I'll take their word for it. Maybe he'll come run up and fight the boss like the Resident Evil 4 dog.
In the finale of Baldur's Gate 3, there's a bunch of characters you've helped throughout the game that you can like summon to help you in the final battle. So I do really like the idea of you being like final battle of this game, like fighting gods, and you just press a button and he's like, and I'm the mayor.
And he does
Shows
his mayor blast and it takes out the boss in one hit.
Mayor blast.
Been charging up all my mayor mana for this.
I want them to do like a really like heartfelt goodbye, like, I'm not gonna make it out of this, kid. And I'll always remember how you let me out of those prickly vines.
I've been having a huge character arc this whole time.
Me and Morgan back at the camp.
Let's get this gate open.
Look up there. That magical device.
I'm not looking up there.
That was such a Batman move. The jumping and throwing all the like smoke bombs down.
That's so true.
He does kind of have like a finisher like that where he jumps up and throws the batarangs at all the guys that are down on the ground.
Yeah, totally.
relevant question. Now that you've played a bit of this game, if you had to compare the action RPG combat to another game, what would you compare it to?
That's a good question. My first thought was Dragon's Dogma 2, just as a recent one. I feel like it's not super far off.
Good work. Let's keep on the
I also feel that. I said on the MinnMax show this week that I was like, my only thing about Dragon's Dogma 2 versus this is that I like how in that game you can like play every class whenever you want, basically.
Yeah.
And I had played the mage for enough that I was like, I kind of want to see what the warrior's like or the rogue is like, but I'd already locked in. I see a lot of people bring up God of War.
Oh, sure.
And I kind of see it in just like the literal things you can do of like,
they might have been drawn to it.
I don't know. It just, God of War has such a specific feel to it that it, like just thinking about the axe to me, this feels different than that.
It must have come this way.
I also really like those games.
Yeah.
Look out! More dark spawn ahead.
Fast little wiry guys. Fast little wiry guys.
Wins again.
Looking for a group of enemies who deserves my new move. Gonna try out my new move.
How do you feel about this? Kermit the Frog, tired, darkspawn, wiry.
Yeah, sure. I guess the reason I went Kermit the Frog versus Sosa the dog was just the rhyming element.
Oh, okay. That was completely lost on me, and I was like, I'm just gonna let it. I'm just not gonna ask for more context because I think it's funnier that way.
I thought your song parody mindset would help me out there, you know?
It should have. I think if Kermit and Toaster rhymed, it would have clicked.
Yeah, that's true. That's valid. Ooh, introducing stagger meters. Let's go. Get staggered. Cool. Get a takedown animation, Don.
Toaster, what do you think of this game? No thoughts.
No thoughts? Jury's still out?
Doesn't often have thoughts, so that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Hellbringer 6 says, is this game co-op you both are playing right now? No. Single player.
That'd be sick.
Leo. That would be sick. I think there was, I don't know all the history of this game, but I do know that they at some point abandoned the like multiplayer, more like live service model that the game had, and we're like, hey, we're BioWare, we should make single player games.
One of those.
I also know that in other Dragon Age games, you do control your companions.
And this, you just like, kind of do their moves.
Yeah.
Ooh, time slow.
Not too bad.
Oh, he's good. He blocks me even in time slow. That was pretty snappy. I didn't like Inquisition much at the time, and it was mostly because of the combat I thought was really too simple.
What is that game? Is that an action also?
Yeah, but the combat felt more like an MMO where it's all cooldowns.
Yeah.
It wasn't very tactile. And you know I gotta keep it tactile.
I do know this.
Everyone knows this. Pilfer. Add insult to injury by swiping a potion when you slice up an enemy. That's good. That's a good rogue ability. But I'm getting one for successful defend, which I believe means parry. I will.
Can you just defend without parrying?
Let's find out.
I don't think these darkspawn
no, you can't hold
Let's
it.
keep looking.
Okay.
Is that rogue specific?
Mages can hold it.
Interesting. That's cool. I feel like they're wanting you to do multiple playthroughs with stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. The mages there's an ability you can do where you hold the shield button and it has like your magic bubble come up, and then you can press a button that makes it like explode out.
Nice. Let me squeeze through. Oh, just ran through it like normal. I hate those run-throughs. So boring.
Oh, what? What is this, a doorway?
Yes, for real.
The pus blobs in this game are very much like a thing I'm so used to in video games that I just thought about, like, you know, if this was in real life, it'd be terrible. Are you looking for the chest that's on the map right here? I could not find it for the life of me. I think maybe when you open that other chest, it just gets added to the map of, like,
in a slightly wrong place.
Here. And yeah, I think it's
it
slightly
must.
wrong. Because I did, like, some janky jumping up the side there, and then got around to the other side, and it's like, yeah, there's nothing here. You're not supposed to come here. What are you doing?
I'm glad you saved me from trying that. What do you think about this? Tired, pus-filled blobs, wired puss in boots.
Over there.
Okay. I'll rephrase it. Tired, pus-filled blobs, wired, puss-filled boots.
Okay, good, good.
Probably another one.
And
now
yeah,
we're improvising.
I actually love that, yeah.
Great. Uh-oh. That was making this bridge be real. We like this bridge. Oh, actually we don't. Because there's something under there.
He's got it, he's got it.
And it feels like I should be able to get it, but I get they want me to actually solve the puzzle.
Nicely done. I mean, it's.
I feel like this
gross,
is
but you can't argue with
the delay is really a test in patience for me, because I am such a like backseat gamer in general.
Sure.
So for me to be like, Charles, pause. Leo can figure it out on his own. He probably already has. So if you just don't say anything. My partner has she's never explicitly been like, it's so annoying that you do that, but I can tell that it's annoying. Someone's like, oh, just. The worst is when it's in like Slay the Spire, or we both play a lot of Marvel Snap, where it's like a turn-based card thing, and I'm like, oh, you could just optimize it. Oh, if you just play this one first, and then nope, okay, that's fine.
Yes, I definitely started going like, do you want advice on this right now? That feels like a necessary step.
Definitely.
Is it going to make it worse and make you not want to play this more?
Yeah. Yeah, there are
Or
sometimes
do you
it
want
has
to
been
play?
helpful, but yeah. The worst is when it's like a game like Marvel Snap. I'm like, oh, you should play this card here, and then she loses.
Ooh, after your
It
advice?
was my fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have lost regardless, but it was definitely my fault because you did exactly what I told you to. So.
Focus on these ranged fools first.
These weak fools.
Most people and creatures are weak fools to me.
I love the best dialogue. He's just a weak fool.
He's just being a weak fool.
When I was a kid, my mom was very particular about me policing my language so I don't say offensive things, but generally not like swear words, just like rude words. So like I wasn't allowed to say shut up as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's fair. But then I would always like turn it into like the SH word is shut up.
Oh my gosh.
And the ST word was stupid. Could say stupid. There was my dad. You know the show Super Friends from the 70s?
I sure don't. Is it a cartoon?
It's like an animated cartoon that's like a Justice League show.
Are the Wonder Twins on
basically.
that?
Yes, though they
Okay.
weren't on the season that we had. But yeah, that's.
I feel like I know them by way of Scooby-Doo crossing over with them.
Yes, and you can think of that as like the animation style.
Yeah, cool.
Anyways, there's an episode that had Lex Luthor in it. And I went to my mom one time after watching. I was like, Mom, Lex Luthor said the F word. And she was like, what? And then hit play, and he was like, Superman, you are a fool. And my mom was like, oh, okay, jeez. Jeez.
That's so awesome.
Super Friends is a great show. They were like, it was at the era where they're like, okay, there are like young kids in the world that aren't white, so we should add some representation for them. But it was before they were like, these should be actual characters and not just stereotypes.
Right.
So there is a character named Samurai.
Okay. Who's white? Cross his fingers?
He is
What?
Asian.
Oh.
But he does not have any powers that anywhere remotely resemble a samurai. He can make, like, tornadoes.
Okay, so they're challenging
and-
stereotypes a little bit.
But I also don't think, at least in the, like, collection of episodes we had on DVD, I don't believe he ever has any lines. Or maybe, like, once or twice he does. And then, there's also Apache Chief, which is just like,
Sure.
that's just a real population of people. You can't just be like, yes, this is American soldier. Actually, that would be a Marvel
G.I.
character,
Joe, I
but
guess.
that type of thing, yeah. And the other one was Black Vulcan, who eventually got turned into Black Lightning. But it was always the thing of
Yep.
like, he could just be Vulcan. He doesn't have, the lightning he shoots isn't black. He just is a black person. His suit, I also don't think was very black. It was just his skin.
A classic black character with lightning powers.
Yeah,
An old
he's one of
trope.
them. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting pattern.
Perhaps one of the first.
Wow. Learn your history.
I do want to shout out Cactus Corpse in the chat, who just has been pitching different Max Blank shows.
Please.
And I just really appreciate it. We have the most recent one was Max Backseat. But I really have to keep. We have Max Weird Fleshy Embrace that was during the Mare sequence.
Sure.
I mentioned Max Orbs, Max Smoking back when we were talking about smoking. I just appreciate.
Smoking?
Oh, that's good.
That's pretty good.
I like that being a like PAX West, PAX East.
Right.
It's just cigarettes. They just got kind of confused with the name.
It's an interview show, but it has to be like over a smoke break with only with devs who smoke. Sponsored by Marlboro.
Sponsored by Marlboro.
That could be kind of sick.
God, I wish I smoked now.
Yeah, there you go. It's working. We'll interview any community member for a full hour.
Smoke.
As long as you smoke.
Cactus Corpse now says max recognition. Us going back.
Yo. We're doing it to the max.
Hitmonchan says, do you guys ever play Marvel Snap against each other? I have no idea if that would be something people would do. I assume they were talking about me and my partner?
I also assume that.
Which we have done before. It's a thing of, there's a mode called Conquest. Marvel Snap matches are usually like 2 to 4 minutes. But there's like a Conquest mode you do that is like a bunch of those matches. So we only do it if we're like, usually if we're like waiting at a restaurant for our table to get called, we'll pull up a Marvel Snap together.
Speaking of waiting, I'm waiting in this damn water.
Whoa.
Good little water area. And tell me that reflection does not look exactly like how that would look in
It
real
does
life.
look great. The ripples in the water too are very good.
Yeah, the little water path is interesting. And the raindrops, like the splash from the waterfall, I presume that's what that is, or is it just raining?
I don't think it's raining.
I think it's extra splash. Reflections of the characters looking great in the water. But more importantly, new armor.
New armor.
Give me my new armor. Yeah, see, I don't feel like it's my particular fantasy to look that good. To look that clean.
Oh, to look that good? Like, you like it?
I don't like being this put together. It's like,
Okay,
when am I
yeah.
washing
Oh, I
these
see what you're
clothes,
saying.
you know?
Yes, yes.
Just for me personally and the RPing I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like it with this face paint.
Mm-hmm.
That match is pretty cool.
We got Sarah in the chat.
What's popping, Sarah?
Did you make your character to have the max polygon?
I did. I tried to make the body shape as complicated as possible. Maximum vertices. It's Delirium Ghoul! They're getting ulted on.
Vertices would be good.
Okay, that... Maybe I will put combat up to hard.
Whoa!
Anticipation of the Delirium Ghoul. But I did have my ult. Hellbringers says I decided to play through the old Dragon Age games before this because it's been forever. How'd you like them? Do they hold up?
Harding?
That's a great question. I remember asking people, like, should I replay them, and got, like, very mixed responses on which of them I should play.
Yeah.
Harding!
Crowboy votes Origins.
Harding? Her yelling Harding? That's about to be me when I put this game's combat on hard mode. I'm Harding!
Harding? I'm Harding? We're ray tracing?
Tracing!
Harding! I can hear it. The Song of the Stone. What is happening to me?
Shipwright 42 says, just joined. How is the Dragon Age? It's a good question, Leo. How are you liking it?
How is the Dragon Age? I'm looking forward to giving the story more of my attention. It
Yeah.
seems like there's some potential. The writing hasn't like stuck out as bad at all, but we've been talking and chilling. Which might upset some people that we're not focusing on the game more. And I
think
always
it
wonder
also-
about that.
It came out a week ago.
Yeah.
So I feel like if someone was like really passionate about this game, they would have already seen the beginning.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm being presumptuous. Maybe they were waiting for max settings specifically.
Perhaps.
In which case, I'm so sorry. I've been spending way too much time talking about Shrek.
Some would say. Do I have primers and detonators right now? And is that a rogue thing?
When you go in the like ability tree, you'll be able to see if stuff primes and detonates stuff.
Do
you see it?
I see the icebreaker detonates sundered and static primes weakened. So it has to match, right?
Harding's, I think, low ability there.
Yeah, that applies sundered.
Yeah.
Okay, so once those are off cooldown, we'll give those a try.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Oh, they gave it to me. Get sundered on.
That's got it.
Sundered.
Might have killed him too fast.
Sundered. Icebreak and a sundered.
I like that conceptually.
The combo moves?
Yeah, the priming and detonating.
Yeah. I like having like multiple reasons like that to like equip certain abilities. Like at first it's like, oh, this is like a fire one, and I need this guy's weak to fire, so I gotta just get a fire skill. The idea that it's like, well, this fire one also detonates sundered, so I can have like a combo like that.
Yeah, a little more to think about.
They're aiming for us.
Let's try it again. I don't know if I hit it last time. Okay, you're getting primed. Here it comes.
Priming?
I think you got primed. Let's see if you get detonated. Did she just miss?
Ready when you are.
No, she's in it now. But the presence of Harding's icon makes me think that she hasn't done it yet.
Uh-huh. Well, I think you can also target people to fight certain enemies in that like pop-up menu.
Right.
They're coming from the
So I think that means you've assigned Harding to fight them.
Oh, I see. They're going to be focusing.
Yeah, but I think by default they just fight whoever's near them. But if you want them to, like if Harding has a bow or something that you know is going to do a lot of damage.
Right. Oh, unblockable. I see that now.
To go again.
All the Holloway did mention the stream still has the tags. The 3 tags on the stream are English, Jacob, and Mario.
I did decide against changing those. Delirium Ghoul's back! I'm about to eat my words.
Delirium Ghoul.
Regarding not being intimidated by him. Okay. Detonate on his ass? I guess I can tell by the cooldown being not off that it hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
I did hit somebody off a ledge earlier. I'm glad that's in this. There we go.
Oh, did you do it?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Oh, did he respawn? Oh, okay. Was that not
Different
the
guy.
boss? Was I confused? Okay, I was confused.
Different guy, different guy.
That's fine. That would have been really bad. There was an instance of, I saw a streamer talking about Baldur's Gate 3. They do like challenge runs in that game. And they specifically found out that there's one boss where if you throw rats at them specifically, they can get knocked backwards. And in their like role playing of throwing rats at the boss, they knock them off the cliff. And then Larian Studios was like, yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. So thanks for doing that. We never tested throwing rats at the guy to see if it would knock him off. So now we've patched that out.
That's cool. You've left yourself vulnerable, my dear Lyrium Ghoul. As too have I. Oh my lord. This guy frankly loves to hit me with his mini attacks. Oh my god.
I'm glad you're being frank about it.
And I don't like to cast judgment like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ready.
How do you feel about the green vases littered about the battlefield in a boss fight? Does it hurt either realism or do you just like, you appreciate them?
I love it. I think we swung too far towards realism a while back, and the increased presence of green containers that give you health that I clocked immediately the second I started the game. It's like, oh, that's what I'm going to be hitting to get health.
Yeah.
I like that.
We were like, we need fewer green barrels that give you health. We never were like fewer red barrels that explode.
True.
That meter never went down. We're like, we all get that.
That to us is realistic.
That dagger.
I wish barrels were real.
Do to me.
Not sure, but we should get back.
How would you use explosive red barrels in real life? Where would you want them to be placed? Stoplights?
That's a great question. I was gonna say like mining.
Has failed,
but you know, stop
Sure.
It's worth too.
The Dreadwolf's dagger is hidden from me. Fen Harel meddles once again.
Never realized how caked up the Lyrium Ghoul was when I played.
Well, that's you haven't played it on max settings.
That's true. Okay, here we go. So one of these guys is pretty big. You're talking about really big gods.
Yeah, and wanting that.
You said something took you over.
Something like that?
And it's still with you.
I thought that might have been what was happening.
Yes. I think so. It can't be possession, can it?
I doubt it. Dwarves can't be possessed. They aren't connected to the Fade. Solus's dagger triggered this event. But how? Or why? I'm sorry, Lace. I wish I had answers.
It's all right. Talking has helped. And hey, we got the dagger, right? Mission accomplished. Dwarves have never used
I was really
magic.
tempted to make a dwarf.
We can't.
But it's the only one where it gives you like a warning. It's like a little exclamation point that says dwarves can't use magic.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know
It's a
what your
wonderful
rook's
gift.
name is?
You must be proud.
But
I went
didn't
with
do
Fleet.
anything to earn this.
Ooh.
How could I be proud?
Was that a Leo choice, or was
don't
that
even know how it
did that come
happened.
That was a
recommended?
Leo choice. I like to
It's
just
all
put
a
one
little
letter and then see where it
strange.
goes
But not in a
for a
bad
fantasy
way.
name.
I feel connected to the stone. Dwarves call ourselves children of the stone. Some of us have what we call stone sense.
Stone sense.
Those that have it can feel caves, lyrium veins, and faults in the rock.
I like
I
that
wasn't one of them.
dwarf trait.
Maybe the dagger
The connection with the
unlocks
earth.
something hidden. But this is more than the stone sense I
I
know.
got 2 stone
I
sensors
hope
right
you're
here
right
in
that
my
this is a
hands.
gift.
Yep, that's a stone.
I'd be
Nope, this is a
heartbroken
wall.
if it caused problems.
This
Well,
is the floor.
trick question. Wall made of stone.
Yeah, I thought you'd get me with this one, huh? Oh, here's my chance to love.
I do really appreciate that they signify
As long as
the
you're throwing lots of
tone
bad
before
guys
you
and
select
not
Yeah.
the dialogue
Don't give me a
option.
reason
I think I
to
thought it was
then.
kind of obnoxious at
No
first, but there are
promises.
some of them where it's
I'll
like,
send word to the Grey Wardens
for me
about
to
the
say
blight
you're
we
not a
saw.
problem.
And
It's like,
then
no, you're
I'm
fine.
gonna
It's
lie
like,
down.
oh, I guess.
We
And
need
it's
more
spicy
answers
with
about
it.
what the
I
gods
think
are
it is a
planning.
smart way to do it because it's almost more
find some
versatile than
place
if
to
it
relax
just
and
had the
try to
word
reach
like
solace in the faith.
angry or
Good
tough
luck.
guy
Yeah.
answer.
Try not
It's
to let
like
him get to you.
the knight with
It
the
feels
arms
like a
folding can
final
mean a lot of
reach of
things, and you can
progress.
always kind of infer
And
what it's going to
I'm
mean
not
in its
sure
response to
what
the specific
my new
situation.
magic's about, but I know it feels
The worst thing is in one of these
Right.
games where you you just click a very normal sounding response and then it
With
turns
their
into
eyes
like,
on the Dreadwolf and
it's
the
like,
gods
if you
had
click
set
you're not a
loose.
problem, it's like you're not a
They
problem.
couldn't see
You're
their
the only
closer
problem.
beings coming to haunt them. Harding told herself it felt right. She was connected to the stone, to the lost titans, and all of dwarven history, with its buried secrets.
Do you know the buried secrets of
How
Dwarven
could
history?
that be anything but good?
I can't disclose whether or not
Okay.
I know that.
Right on, right on. The Singeing Blade. Interesting. Another bow for Harding. Can't say I'm as excited as if I had a bow for myself.
That was another
should
thing I
find
felt of
someplace to
like
try to
just the
talk to
gear
Solus.
for the companions, or I was like, wish I could feel more passionate about this.
Yeah. Oh, big sneeze coming up. Fuck. Never mind.
Wow, I'm really disappointed.
I know, man. Shit.
Maximum settings, minimum sneeze.
I guess.
Have you looked at the specializations at all? I haven't gotten to
Are those like
that
end
point.
game ability type things?
If you zoom out, you can see them. It's like you'll get to pick one of 3 when you get to level 20.
Oh, I see. Yeah, and for the rogue, it's between. Or no, is this one specific to my history with the veil?
I think they're all rogue.
But that's just coincidence.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because all of these have their different faction relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So I guess that makes me lean towards the faction I'm associated with. But there's nothing stopping me from getting weirder with it. The ranged has been fun. I always love mixing in ranged with close quarters combat. I'm hesitant to get too many abilities before I really map out my primers and detonations, though.
Sure.
This detonating overwhelmed is like, can I even apply overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
the mage they have a staff they can use, but then they also have like a dagger orb combo that I was a big fan of. And one of the subclasses does like lean towards that more. It's like Spellblade, I think. I think I saw that there was a specialization called Spellblade, and it made my decision for what class I was going to choose immediately for me.
Wait, that room wasn't there before.
Is that your typical when it's an option?
I like swords and I like magic.
Makes sense. Better place to sleep than the infirmary.
But it's also like,
I can spare a few moments to unpack my things.
Like if it's in a game where all the weapons are ranged, then I'm like, well, swords are so cool though. But if it's in a world where, like, I don't want to be like a meaty dude usually.
I asked him how we
Not
were
like a
supposed to
two-hander.
stop Solus, and he gave
Yeah, I'm
advice.
never a big sword guy.
Take a long, hard look
I'm
at
always the
kid.
bow guy, and that feels like the
You'll
normie
always show
pick. I
the
feel like
face
you'd
of the
think
hero
the
who
default
can
sword
get
guy
it
is the
done.
normie pick, but it's even more normie to be a bow guy. That's how I feel. Gender identity options in the mirror. Interesting.
I did know that was a thing that you can do. Like you can basically assert.
You can transition in real time.
Yeah, or I think establish that you have transitioned or that you are. Yeah.
Interesting.
There they are. The person I knew I was. I did the work. I stuck with it. And now I get to see them.
That is a
every
big
time
swing.
I look in the mirror.
It is.
Respect, respect.
This piece is all that's left of the artifact that trapped Varric and the others in Arlathan Forest, the day we met. Only thing left of my time with the Veil Jumpers, too.
This is
Strong
about
didn't
as
want
far
to
as I
see
have
me
played.
again, until I'd gotten
Okay,
some
sick.
sense pounded into my head.
Well, it's going to be about as far as I have played.
Perfect. I was like, I played up to this point and I was like, for factoring in character
I'll
creation
never
and
regret
intro,
saving
surely
everyone.
this will account for all
But
the
I
time.
probably
And I
could
didn't
have been
realize we
more
were skipping
apologetic
that. And
about
I was like,
disobeying
okay, I hope I
orders.
don't
Hoping
get
I
out of
could
my
write
depth
strife
here.
one day.
Yeah.
But I had surgically called it.
Yeah, I made the decision to play more this morning to better understand
A peddler gave me this after I saved his
what I was
caravan
getting
from
into.
bandits. He was so impressed with the Vitar that Kunari wear to protect our faces, and the fireworks he saw at a Ravani festival. Said he had no idea my people were such accomplished alchemists.
Not ready to make a big stance about the Kunari. I don't feel like I've been paying enough attention to dialogue to do that, so I'm just going to connect on our love of traveling.
He had fancy silks from Orlais, statuettes from the wilds to the south.
I actually love that,
I
like,
could have listened to stories all night about places he'd been.
political
Now I'm getting to see
opt
some of those
out
places myself.
of like racist uncle being like, ugh, these black people sure love being good at football. And you're like, yeah, I love football. That's the whole of this conversation.
Right, football's so
Tools I
great.
professional
Football's so
scoundrel
great.
needs when learning the trade. I spent as much time picking locks and mixing poisons as I did training with blades or a bow.
I feel like it's been a while since I got into a fantasy game like this, and when I make the new character, I'm like, do I go bow guy because that's what I've always done, or would I have a better chance of liking it if I, like, branched out? If I surprised myself a little more and then was surprised by how much fun I had versus having kind of the expected bow experience that I'm very used to having.
Yeah, I do very much have like
That
sometimes I want to branch out and other times I'm like, no, I feel like I should do what I'm comfortable with.
It all just felt right.
Like,
sure,
I just went back in and you can like adjust your appearance and stuff in the mirror.
That's better.
Now
how do
and
I
I went
connect
back
to
in
Solus?
today to be like, you know, I went with the American accent,
clear my
and I for some reason I was like, I'm not gonna do British. I'm gonna do American because that feels more like me. And then I went back in today. I was like, you know, no, I should have been British. I regret doing the choice, and so I'm
You should have
British.
been British.
You know how sometimes you look in the mirror and you're like, I've been British the whole time. That was the vibe.
Right. I'm pretty sure I'm British. I just
Wait a
realized.
minute.
I do really like this little point in the story where you're just walking around your room, like, reflecting on your past. I think that's a fun way to have the role-playing, like, what's my character's backstory that's not just picking it out of a menu.
Yeah.
You do get to do that, too. Well, this has been a pretty freaking stellar first episode of Max Settings.
Smooth and buttery, I would say.
Smooth and buttery. The goal is to do them once a month, about, with new releases, so it'll probably, you know, pivot based on that. I'll be hosting every time. Charles, sorry, you're not welcome back. I don't know how to, I was going to tell you after the stream, but you know what
I'm not welcome back.
Yeah, we're going to have rotating guests for everybody except Charles, who is banned.
Wow. Okay, that's fine. Well, actually, just be clear, I'm not Charles. My name is Maxwell Settings.
Right, Maxwell Settings will be on constantly.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much to NVIDIA for sponsoring this show, for sending me this 4090 that will improve my life every single day, whether I'm streaming or not. I'm truly so excited to have it, and I've already gone through, like, favorite games to see how well they run. I'm excited to do the Alan Wake 2 DLC with this thing. That game can get pretty chuggy on my old stuff. So
that's a good Shadows game.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the Shadows will be like I've never seen them before. Links in the description and in the chat on our Twitch stream for more on the 4090 and specifically Veilguard, the settings in this game, which we showed off earlier. But of course, it's not specific. It's not a Veilguard exclusive graphics card, so don't worry about that. You can play anything with it.
You're allowed. We give you permission.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you, Maxwell, and thank you, Raymond. Thank you all for being here.
You're welcome.
Hey, you're welcome.
You're welcome. This is the first thing I said since the start of the stream.
Wow, he came back.
Wow, I missed him so much. Bye.
You've seen the headlines. You know that the media landscape is consolidating. Having truly independent games media is more important than ever. MinnMax can exist independently as a place about games, friends, and getting better, but we need your help. The good news is that it's easy. Just click on that subscribe button or unlock a mountain of benefits by going to patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's. Thanks so much, everybody.